Thank you, Peter. That was fantastic. And can I just also add that, of course, many learnings for Hope Street with this pilot and with the model. Now, our community integration facilitators were employed as community integration facilitators, not as case managers. But by the sheer fact that we soon realised that the case managers of the agencies who were referring young people into the program were incredibly overworked, and of course the funding requirements of their programs was that once someone leaves your service, you don't follow them. You need to pick up someone else and provide support to the next young person waiting for a service. So that was something that we hadn't really thought through at the very beginning when we developed the pilot, because we were trying to look at in a sort of a cost-effective way, if you like, of how we could get this off the ground. So that was a big learning for us. So from here, our proposed model is about having 2 case managers per program who can provide a much higher level of support. We take on board the feedback from young people in the report who said, my worker went on holiday, I didn't know who to contact, I didn't want to contact one of the other case workers at Hope Street because I didn't really know them, and the worker who I had, she knew what was going on for me in my life, and so I felt like I just had to try and wait until the person came back. So even though other measures are put in place, you can see where a young person's coming from when they're saying, well, I don't really want to have to tell my story all over again to another worker. So that's a part of the model, is definitely have 2 case management positions. Maintaining the community integration facilitator role is critical for those community relationships and building those relationships, in particular with real estate agents. The real estate agent in Melton, we rang 10 real estate agents to see if they would come on board with this project. They were the last one on the list. All the others, as soon as we mentioned homelessness and young people, no. The last real estate agent, thank goodness, said yes. I'll meet with you, yes. And he's quoted in the report as saying, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a loving family, 2 parents, food, a roof over my head. I want to do something for young people who don't have this. And yes, he's got on board and he's been absolutely fantastic. Kieran Carson is actually an apology for today, but a fantastic supporter. Once he came on board, we had success through Rain and Horn, we could then say to other real estate agents, look, there's been no default in rent payment, absolutely none with the young people in the program. Look at the success. There's been no issues in terms of tenancies and young people not meeting their tenancy responsibilities. This is working. Give these kids a go. This is possible. We've got the support here for them. And so then we found that other real estate agents started to get on board. Part of that is that community awareness and relationship building, that the community integration, we need to have a dedicated position that does that. The spin-offs of that as well is local businesses like Woodgrove Shopping Centre getting on board, promoting. That video was produced by Woodgrove Shopping Centre that you saw earlier. They've played a critical role in educating the community, raising awareness in the local community to say this exists, but there are solutions, and the solutions that we have work. The other key component in terms of how we can improve this model is brokerage. So one young person refers to the fact that they can only purchase halal meat from their butcher with cash. There's no other way. They can't go to the supermarket. So if we provide someone with a supermarket voucher, they can't purchase halal meat with that voucher. So things like that are really important as to whether or not there's a meal on the table if a young person's trying to prioritise paying the rent first, so that the rental component is coverage. So on average, I think in the report, the brokerage per young person was $1,600. Really, that's not a great amount of money over 6 months. and basically, and that is on top of the access to the private rental brokerage scheme that exists in the homelessness service system, as well as when young people were able to access the bond scheme that is administered through Office of Housing for young people. So having flexible brokerage and a good amount of flexible brokerage is critical for young people to assist them to sustain their private rental. And I'm sure there are plenty of other learnings there for us as well that we will explore further, but there's some of the key points that we have put to the department as a part of our proposal. As most of you know, Hope Street is deeply committed to giving young people who experience no stable or safe home a voice. It is therefore my pleasure and with deepest gratitude I welcome our next guest, Zara, who is from our Whittlesea Hope to Home pilot, to come and say a few words. Now, Christine Fagan, our Program Manager for the North East, it's going to be a little bit interactive with some questions with Zara. So let's give Zara a really warm welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to introduce Zara. She was one of the participants in the program with the Whittlesea rollout, Hope to Home, and was assisted by Abir Al-Zawada. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Are you happy to answer a few questions? Okay. So what brought you to the program originally?
Originally I was living at my uncle's house and I was already married and I had a son, and I applied for a marriage visa for my husband to come and live in Australia. So when that visa was approved, I was still living at my uncle's, and I applied for over 25 houses and I didn't get any approval because I didn't have a job at the time. I was trying to study at home and finish my year 12. And when I was searching online and I was calling all these institutes, they told me to go to Hope to Home. I called them, they gave me an appointment, and during that week I worked with a couple of the people, and then I got an appointment with Abir, and from there she was working with me. She applied for houses with me. She'd call and check up and see the Ray White and all those other real estate agents and see if they would approve. It took a long time, but at the end, with the support, I did get an approval.
And what was your experience in accessing the program? Did you find it easy?
It was fairly easy. I went to one other place, I'm not really sure what it was, but it was really hard to get in contact with the people. And when I went to home, two of the workers there, I'd give them a call all the time and discuss my own problems, and they even told me that they could arrange childcare for my son, and if I wanted to go and look for houses, I wouldn't be able to take him with me. They'd also, I could call them and tell them anything. I was setting back on my studies, and they gave me that support as well.
What did you like about the program, and what was the most beneficial thing for you?
I guess it's just, I liked everything about it. The support is the main thing, knowing that there are people out there, that people care, that people, they're going all out to ask people, and they don't mind taking you places and things like that to get you the home that you want. And then after that, the financial support, that, groceries or the $600 that they gave up front, that was also very supportive.
And you mentioned before that you were studying. How did the program assist you in completing your studies?
I don't think I would have kept going with my VCE if I hadn't found a house, because it took about 3 months before I found Hope to Home. I wasn't really researching. I didn't know that there was something out there like that. So I wouldn't be studying right now if it wasn't for the home that I found. Yeah.
And what are you studying now?
I'm doing VCE Year 12 part-time because of my son, but I'm looking for future uni and things like that. So,
do you have any ideas on how the program can be improved?
There might be the voucher, like instead of having the voucher for the big grocery stores, to have a more open voucher where people can spend it on clothing or on other grocery stores that are smaller and aren't as big. So yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about the program?
I'd just like to thank everyone for the help and support, Abir and all the girls from Hope to Home. They were very helpful, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time as well.
Excellent, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Zara. It's very courageous to be in front of a room of people who you don't know and to share your story, and we're really pleased that you are a part of Hope to Home and that it's worked so well for you. And congratulations on continuing with your study as well. Excellent. You're most welcome. Thank you. The Hope to Home pilot, in closing, has demonstrated that it is a workable solution, that it is affordable to government and communities, and more important, that it's a real and rippling benefits to communities. Young people, along with our partners and supporters of the Hope to Home pilots in Melton and Whittlesea, have shown what can be achieved collectively. The Hope to Home pilot demonstrates a model that can provide vulnerable young people and young families with stability, a home, safety, a place to go to school and or work, to be a family, to live and to remain connected in their local community. Hope to Home is one solution that does transition young people out of homelessness. We know that this can also be a rocky road or up and down path for young people, with the many challenges involved in sustaining private rental, but this is what the Hope to Home model considers. The evaluation has identified how the model can be improved to increase the capacity of the model in providing services to more young people and children in growth corridors. Hope Street is discussing a proposal for funding of this model with the Department of Health and Human Services, and I look forward to informing you of the outcome of that. Finally, I'd like to end by saying a very special thank you to our partners and supporters who have made these pilots possible, providing life-changing hope to young people and their children. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the young people who were a part of the pilot and continue to be a part of the program. I'd like to give special thanks to our community integration facilitators who have absolutely gone above and beyond in their role. Katie Mocken with our Melton program and Abia Alzawada with our City of Whittlesea program. I'd like to acknowledge our special guests who are here today, including Alexandra White from Gandel Philanthropy. It's an absolute pleasure to have worked on this pilot with Gandel Philanthropy, and they were the first philanthropic organisation who took a role with Hope Street and supported this initiative, and that really set the parameters and meant that we were able to lead the way with the City of Whittlesea. So we're deeply appreciative of Gandel Philanthropy for that opportunity. I'd like to acknowledge that Judith Cook, who is a director and a member of Hope Street Board, is here today. I'd also like to acknowledge Clive Scott, who's from the Sofitel Melbourne on Collins and a member of the Hope Street Corporate Committee, has also been deeply committed to Hope Street. Stuart Mitchell from Cyclone Advertising is a member of our Corporate Committee and is with us today. I would also like to acknowledge Councillor Bob Turner, the Mayor of the Melton City Council, who is with us today, as well as Kelvin Torrey, who is the CEO of Melton City Council. I'd like to acknowledge as well Mark Goody, who is the CEO of Mary Outreach Support Services. And we were going to have the Assistant Director of Homelessness, but I can't see Sherry in the room. And also we were going to have Mark Stracey, who's an Area Director of the Department of Health and Human Services, but I can't see Mark in the room either. Apologies from our other partner, Catherine Brown, who is the CEO of the Lord Mayor's Charitable Foundation, as well as Inspector Catherine Rudkins, who's with the Victoria Police in Melton. So I look forward to informing you about the outcome of our proposal with the Department of Health and Human Services. We will keep you informed via our website as well as personally. But thank you very much for coming today and celebrating with us and sharing the insights of this fantastic pilot. Thank you.
there's nowhere to hide. Color your conscience, make you feel it inside. If you can't spend the time, 'cause it's too hard to cope, I'll find my strength, carry on, and live life with hope. Live life with hope. Live life with hope. Live life with hope. Live life. I know where I'm going, I know where I've been, and I don't make judgments on the color of skin. The place I once lived, in the place I call home, it doesn't exist, and I'm all alone. Live life with hope. Live life with hope. Live life with hope. Live We're all the same, that's who we are. I lost my possessions 'cause I traveled so far. If you rush by me when it's too hard